All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar, and with me is Tanvi Taneja. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for making speedy and affordable COVID testing facility available to all. Government lifts all restrictions on export of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. World Food Day being observed today. Prime Minister to release a commemorative coin to mark 75th anniversary of FAO. Uttar Pradesh government decides to set up Women Help Desk in every police station of the state. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders to clash with Mumbai Indians at Abu Dhabi today. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a note of caution to stay safe and stay protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now, the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday took a review meeting of the research and vaccine deployment ecosystem against the COVID-19 pandemic, including testing technologies, contact tracing, drugs and therapeutics. Mr. Modi appreciated the efforts made by Indian vaccine developers and manufacturers to rise to the COVID-19 challenge and being committed to continue government facilitation and support for all such efforts. The Prime Minister directed that both sero-surveys and testing must be scaled up. He said that the facility to get tested regularly, speedily and inexpensively must be available to all at the earliest. He took stock of Health Ministry's comprehensive distribution and delivery mechanism for vaccines. It includes mechanisms for adequate procurement and technologies for bulk stockpiling, filling vials for distribution and ensuring effective delivery. Mr. Modi also underscored the need for continuous and rigorous scientific testing and validation of traditional medicine treatments. He appreciated the efforts of the Ministry of Ayush for conducting evidence-based research and providing reliable solution in this difficult time. The Prime Minister reiterated the country's resolve to provide cost-effective, easily available and scalable solutions for testing, vaccine and medication not only for India but for the entire world. He called for continued vigilance and high state of preparedness against the pandemic. The meeting was attended by Health Minister Harshvardhan, Member Health and Niti Aayog Dr. V.K. Paul, Principal Scientific Advisor Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, senior scientists and other officials. New Delhi has said that China has no locus standi to comment on India's internal matters. Replying to media queries on China's remarks yesterday, MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been, are and will remain integral parts of India. He said Arunachal Pradesh is also very much an integral part of India, and this fact has also been clearly conveyed to the Chinese side on several occasions, including at the highest level. The spokesperson said New Delhi hopes that countries will not comment on India's internal matters as much as they expect the same from others. On China's remarks over border infrastructure, Mr. Srivastava said the Government of India has focused on creating infrastructure for improving livelihood and economic welfare of its people. He said the government gives specific attention to the development of border areas for economic development and to meet India's security and strategic requirements.
India has dismissed the claim of Pakistan Prime Minister's Special Assistant on National Security that New Delhi has sent a message to Islamabad indicating a desire for talks between the two countries. Briefing media virtually from New Delhi last evening, MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said, "We have seen reports of interview of a senior Pakistani official to an Indian media outlet where he has commented on India's internal matters. He said, as always, this is an effort of the present Pakistan government to divert attention from domestic failures and mislead its domestic constituents by pulling India into its headlines on a daily basis."
The official is well advised to restrict his advice to his establishment and not to comment on India's domestic policy. The statements made by him are contrary to facts on the ground, misleading and fictitious. As regards the purported message that was referred to, let me make it clear that no such message was sent from our side. Further, I would like to add that Pakistan continues to support, aid and abet cross-border terrorism against India and also been resorting to unprovoked ceasefire violations to support terrorist infiltration.
The MEA spokesman further said the Pakistani leadership continues to indulge in an inappropriate, provocative and hate speech against India. Mr. Srivastav said such support to terrorism against India and use of derogatory and abusive language are not conducive to normal neighbourly relations. The Health Ministry today said that India continues to have one of the lowest deaths per million population globally. It is presently pegged at 80. In a tweet, the ministry said some states and UTs are performing better and reporting much lower deaths per million population than the national average. It said enhanced medical infrastructure, strengthened critical care capacities of ICU doctors, adherence to standard treatment protocol and tireless efforts of doctors, paramedics and various COVID-19 warriors have collectively resulted in these outcomes.
Gujarat has recorded 1,185 new corona cases during the last 24 hours. The recovery rate has reached up to 88.22%. Details from our correspondent.
The total 1,37,870 patients recovered from COVID-19 till now. 1,329 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 52,16,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. Maximum 249 new cases reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 186 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 14,804. 11 patients died yesterday, taking the total deaths due to COVID-19 to 3,609. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Odisha, COVID-19 recovery has increased to 2,35,763 as against a total caseload of 2,62,011. While the state is nearing 40 lakh mark in sample tests, the active caseload of the state has come down to 25,106. With 17 more deaths reported yesterday, the COVID-19 fatalities have gone up to 1,089. A report.
Out of about 25,000 COVID-19 active cases, 75%, which counts to about 20,000 positive cases, are in home isolation in the state as of now. It's for this segment of the patients that the state government mooted and executed the idea of heavy pyramid therapy earlier this month. The life-saving therapy being administered under close medical guidance has received community acceptance as revealed in a review meeting yesterday. Meanwhile, even as the state enters into a festive phase now and wintry days thereafter, the state has been ramping up the stocks in its medical toolbox like oxygen cylinders and ventilators to cushion the criticalities of any viral resurgence ahead. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Karnataka, 8,477 new COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday, taking the tally to 7,43,848. At the same time, 8,841 people were recovered and discharged from various hospitals of the state. The total number of recoveries have gone up to 6,20,008. Yesterday, 85 COVID patients lost their lives, taking the total fatalities to 10,283. A report.
Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister Dr. C.N. Aswathanalayana has called upon the industry and academia to work along with the government to make use of technology like artificial intelligence to understand the risk of any disease at an individual level. Speaking in a function in Bengaluru yesterday, he said that present COVID-19 pandemic situation had shown how the virus was able to act differently on each person, and hence the health risks need to be analyzed on an individual basis rather than with a community perspective. He further said that there is a very vast scope to use artificial intelligence to create a large platform to provide a good quality health service at an affordable cost to every citizen of the nation. R. Murthy, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Dr. Neeraj Gupta of the Vardhaman Mahavir Medical College and Safdarjung Hospital, New Delhi, has stressed the importance of hand hygiene for everyone. Talking to AIR, he urged people to wash their hands properly to keep themselves protected from the infection of coronavirus.
हाथ ऐसी सरफेस है जिसको हम अक्सर अपने मुंह, आंख, नाक, गले को छूते हैं और इस प्रकार इन्फेक्शन हमारे शरीर में प्रवेश करते हैं. इसलिए हाथ धोना बहुत आवश्यक है। कम से कम 20 सेकंड अवश्य लगाएं हाथ धोने में। साबुन जो लगाएं इसको अच्छी तरीके से दोनों हाथों पर, उंगलियों के बीच में, नाखूनों पर, अंगूठे पर, आगे पीछे चारों तरफ से उसकी सफाई होनी आवश्यक है। इसी तरह से रगड़ेंगे, सारे के सारे ये कीटाणु जो हाथों पर रहते हैं मर जाएंगे और आपके हाथ स्वच्छ हो जाएंगे।
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman attended the plenary meeting of the International Monetary and Financial Committee, IMFC, the ministerial level committee of IMF, through video conference yesterday. During her intervention at the meeting, the minister briefly outlined the measures under the Atmanirbhar Bharat package to foster a quick and more robust economic recovery in India. In a statement, the ministry said the discussions at the meeting were based on IMF Managing Director's global policy agenda titled Catalyzing a Resilient Recovery. Ms. Sitharaman mentioned that the V-shaped pattern of recovery is being seen in several high-frequency indicators, including manufacturing PMI that reached the highest level in the last 8 years in the last month, presenting a strong recovery prospect for the manufacturing sector. To stimulate consumer spending, measures worth $10 billion have been announced recently, said Ms. Sitharaman.
The World Bank has called for emergency financing of $25 billion to help the world's poorest countries grapple with the massive challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. World Bank Chief David Malpass told the finance ministers and the central bank governors of the G20 major economies that he would propose the supplemental financing package later this month to deputies of the International Development Association, IDA. Mr. Malpass expressed concerns over the rising risk of disorderly defaults among low-income countries. He said the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund have proposed a joint action plan to help the most heavily indebted IDA countries. Head of Urology Department, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, Dr. Amlesh Seth says we should not falter on any of the three precautions of masking, sanitizing and physical distancing. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Seth said we must follow all the steps all the time.
Three important measures to prevent the spread of coronavirus are well known to all of us. Use of mask to cover nose and mouth completely, maintaining a distance of at least 2 meters and washing hands diligently, frequently. My earnest request to all is to follow all the three steps at all times.
Two of Europe's biggest capitals are in trouble as Paris imposed overnight curfews and London banned people from different households from meeting indoors to combat the spread of coronavirus. The announcements came as countries across Europe tightened restrictions following a surge in COVID-19 cases in most countries. UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock announced millions of people in London, Essex, York and other areas face tougher Tier 2 COVID measures from Saturday. Under this high alert level, there is a ban on households mixing indoors, including in pubs and restaurants. More than half of England's population will now be living under high or very high alert restrictions. Today, a further 18,980 cases and 138 deaths within 28 days of a positive test were reported in the United Kingdom. Millions in Europe have been told that they must live under the strict new measures as governments battle a second wave of coronavirus. Back home, the government has lifted all restrictions on export of alcohol-based sanitizers. The Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, in a notification said the export of alcohol-based hand sanitizers in containers with dispenser pumps is free for export, making the export of these hand sanitizers in any form or packaging freely exportable with immediate effect. With a view to promote domestic manufacturing and cut imports of non-essential items, the government has banned imports of air conditioners with refrigerants. DGFT in a notification said import policy of air conditioners with refrigerants is amended from being free to being prohibited. You're listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for making speedy and affordable COVID testing facility available to all. Government lifts all restrictions on export of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. World Food Day being observed today. Prime Minister to release a commemorative coin to mark the 75th anniversary of Food and Agriculture Organization. Uttar Pradesh government decides to set up Women Help Desk in every police station of the state. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders to clash with Mumbai Indians at Abu Dhabi today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz ki duri to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene.
अरे भाई सुना तुमने? अरे इस मुश्किल समय में सरकार ने हम कामगारों की मदद के लिए एक और बड़ा कदम उठाया है।
कौन सा कदम?
पात्रता के नियमों में छूट के साथ ESIC ने अटल बीमित व्यक्ति कल्याण योजना के तहत मिलने वाली राहत राशि को बढ़ाकर दुगना कर दिया है। हाँ
अच्छा, पात्रता की शर्तों को पूरा करने वाले जरूरतमंद बीमित व्यक्ति राहत के लिए ऑनलाइन दावा www.esic.in पर करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी ESIC शाखा कार्यालय से संपर्क करें या फिर टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-112526 पर कॉल करें।
Welcome back. Today is World Food Day. The day marks the foundation of Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in 1945. In 1979, for the first time, it was observed as a day for action against hunger. On the occasion of the World Food Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release a commemorative coin of 75 rupees denomination to mark the 75th anniversary of Food and Agriculture Organization. Mr. Modi will also dedicate 17 recently developed bio-fortified varieties of 8 crops to the nation. Union Agriculture Minister, Finance Minister and Women and Child Development Minister will also be present on the occasion. It will be witnessed by Anganwadis, Krishi Vigyan Kendras, organic and horticulture missions across the country. The event marks the highest priority accorded by the government to agriculture and nutrition and is a testament of the resolve to completely eliminate hunger, undernourishment and malnutrition.
India has a historic association with FAO. Indian Civil Service Officer Dr. Binay Ranjan Sen was the Director General of FAO during 1956 to 1967, and the World Food Programme, which has won the Nobel Peace Prize 2020, was established during his time. Government has rolled out an ambitious Poshan Abhiyan targeting over 100 million people with the aim to reduce stunting, undernutrition, anemia and low birth weight. Malnutrition is a global problem with 2 billion people suffering from micronutrient deficiency. The development of nutritionally rich variety of crops with elevated levels of micronutrients has been accorded top priority by the government. The National Agricultural Research System, under the leadership of ICAR, developed 53 such varieties during the last 5 years. There was only one bio-fortified variety developed prior to 2014. The 17 recently developed bio-fortified varieties of 8 crops to be dedicated to the nation by Prime Minister today will have up to 3-fold increase in nutritional value. These varieties, along with other food ingredients, will transform the normal Indian thali into Nutri-Thali. The production of bio-fortified crop varieties will be upscaled and linked with government programs of midday meal, Anganwadi, to reduce malnutrition and make India Kuposhan Mukt through nutritionally enriched food ingredients. It will also usher in higher income of farmers and will open new avenues of entrepreneurship development. Anupam Mishra, AIR News, Delhi.
In an exclusive interview with AIR News, the representative and country director World Food Programme India, Bisho Parajuli, said a large number of people are still hungry in this world and we need to work together as a world community to eliminate hunger and achieve zero hunger.
Food is the basic right and basic need for everybody. And in this world of 21st century of plenty, to have 690 million people going still hungry, it's a concern. And the zero hunger can be achieved. There is support being provided. WFP reaches out to over 100 million people around the world every day with meals. In some countries, over half of the population depend on food support from WFP and others. So there is a great solidarity.
For the excerpts of the interview, listen to the Parikrama program on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 4:30 p.m. Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI Chairman Subhash Khotia has urged the health insurance providers to develop disease-specific products which could help policyholders in preventing different ailments. Speaking at a health insurance summit organized by CII in Mumbai, Mr. Khotia said under such focused products, insurance companies can bring together medical experts to make the policyholders aware on the steps to be taken to prevent various diseases.
In a major decision related to women's security in the state, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has ordered to establish Women Help Desk in each and every police station of the state. The Chief Minister gave the instruction in a meeting with senior government officials and asked them to prioritize and ensure women's security in the state. The state government is going to launch Mission Shakti tomorrow for women's safety and security. More from our correspondent.
The official press release says that generally women hesitate in registering their complaints with male cops in police stations. Keeping this in mind, women police personnel will be given the charge of these women help desks so that every woman in state can register her complaint freely and fearlessly. Government has directed to implement this order with immediate effect. The women police personnel deputed on help desk will not only listen to the complaints of women but will also be ready to help them anytime. Government had earlier established pink booths at various intersections of Lucknow. Women cops are also deployed at major crossings in various big cities, including capital Lucknow. State government has also made arrangements to drop working women to their homes at odd hours. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
The Election Commission has directed the Madhya Pradesh government to cancel the transfer of 12 joint or deputy collectors which were issued on 8th of this month in poll-bound districts. The Commission said it has come to the notice of the Commission that these transfers were issued during the period of Model Code of Conduct. The poll body reiterated that in case any poll-going district has an acute necessity to fill a vacant post during the operation of Model Code of Conduct, the state government, in consultation with Chief Electoral Officer Madhya Pradesh, shall send a panel of suitable officers for the Commission's consideration and approval. A total of 282 nomination papers have been filed by 216 candidates so far in Madhya Pradesh. Today is the last day of submitting nomination papers for by-elections to 28 assembly seats. More from our correspondent.
Nomination papers have been filed by many heavyweight candidates of the various political parties including ruling BJP and Congress. Scrutiny of nomination papers will be held tomorrow. The process of withdrawal of nomination will be completed till 19th October. Voting will be held on November 3 and the counting of votes on the 10th of November. The elections are being held in 28 assembly constituencies of 19 districts of the Madhya Pradesh. Election campaign is at its peak in all these assembly constituencies. Senior leader of all the political parties of the state are campaigning for their candidates. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Ladakh, campaigning for the 22nd October General Council election of Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council has gained momentum. Both political parties and candidates are leaving no stone unturned to woo the voters. Our correspondent has filed this report.
3 national political parties are contesting the General Council of LHDC election beside independent candidates. Apart from ruling BJP and the opposition party Congress, newly established Aam Aadmi Party Ladakh are leaving no stone to woo the voters in their favor. Digital platforms are being used in large scale beside public meetings and door-to-door campaign. All the 3 parties are campaigning with constitutional safeguard for Ladakh as the main agenda and projecting other several developmental issues. LHDC election is the first election in the whole country being held in COVID-19 pandemic. It will go to poll on 22nd October. Yangchan Dolma for AIR News from Leh, Ladakh.
This is All India Radio giving you the news.
News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you program Employment News in association with the Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. An effective platform for information on job vacancies, training programs, admission notices, results and career advice with experts. Every day at 4:20 p.m. on FM Gold and other frequencies and on our YouTube channel AIR News Official.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The India Meteorological Department IMD has issued a red alert for North Konkan, including Mumbai and Thane for today. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has asked the state administration to be on high alert to tackle any emergency arising out of heavy rains and flood-like situations. He was addressing a meeting to take stock of the flood situation. More from our correspondent.
Over 8,000 people were moved to safer places in rain-hit Solapur district of Maharashtra, while 3 persons drowned in a swollen stream in Pune and another is missing. Parts of Maharashtra, including Pune, Mumbai and Solapur, have been experiencing heavy showers at a time when the southwest monsoon is generally in the retreating mode. Due to rough seas, about 350 fishing boats from Ratnagiri, Mumbai, Rivas and other places have taken shelter at Dabhol port in Ratnagiri district. The Chief Minister's office said that NDRF teams have been stationed in Usmanabad, Solapur, Pandharpur and Baramati. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
Telangana government has said at least 50 persons died due to the devastating spell of rains and floods that hit Hyderabad and other parts of the state for the past 3 days. Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao has held a high-level review meeting in Hyderabad last evening. Later, a statement said the officials informed him at the meeting that 50 persons died, including 11 in Hyderabad. Accordingly, standing crops in 7.35 lakh acres have got damaged. The national highways were damaged at 6 locations and BT roads washed away at 400 places.
In IPL cricket, Kings 11 Punjab recorded a thrilling last ball 8-wicket victory over Royal Challengers Bengaluru at Sharjah last night. Opting to bat first, Bangalore posted a total of 171 for 6 in 20 overs with the help of skipper Virat Kohli's 48 off 39. In today's encounter, Kolkata Knight Riders will clash with Mumbai Indians at Abu Dhabi. Ace Indian shuttler Kidambi Srikanth stormed into the quarterfinals of the Denmark Open with a straight game win over Jason Anthony Ho Siu at Odense last night. Back in action after a 7-month-long coronavirus-forced break, the 5th seed Indian took 33 minutes to get the better of his Canadian opponent 21-15, 21-14 in the men's singles second-round match of the Super 750 tournament, the only event happening this year in Badminton World Federation's calendar. Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi will have mist. The minimum temperature was recorded at 21 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. In Mumbai, there will be generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature is likely to hover between 26 and 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. On to the north, Jammu will have a temperature of 16 degrees Celsius and maximum 35 degrees Celsius. And Ladakh will have mainly clear sky. Temperature is likely to hover between -2 and 20 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Centre softens stand to borrow for states is the front page headline in the Hindustan Times, giving relief to several states to meet the GST compensation shortfall. Responding strongly to China, the MEA asks Beijing to stick to pacts. Mind your own business, India tells China, writes the Pioneer, while the Tribune headline says, India snubs China, no locus standi on Ladakh, Arunachal. The Economic Times, quoting the chief economist of the IMF, says more direct funding push will aid India recovery. To check diversion, centre plans limit on purchase of fertilizers by farmers, notes the Indian Express. The Times of India headline writes, syringe makers look to ramp up stocks for COVID vaccine.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for making speedy and affordable COVID testing facility available to all. Government lifts all restrictions on export of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. World Food Day being observed today. Prime Minister to release a commemorative coin to mark the 75th anniversary of FAO. Uttar Pradesh government decides to set up women help desk in every police station of the state. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders to clash with Mumbai Indians at Abu Dhabi today. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.